Unit 3, Awareness of Converging Digital Technology in the Creative Media Sector. LO1 is to understand the use of digital technology within the creative media sector. So part 1 is to describe the uses of digital technology within the creative media sector. Most media companies are fully digital. They use digital technology in everything they do now, whereas before it was mainly sets, face-to-face communication on the phone, but nowadays they have things like memory sticks, which can take footage and save externally rather than on cassettes, which then can be plugged into a PC, a laptop, to move the files around. Also, with moving files, they also can be uploaded to Google Drive or Dropbox or any other cloud-based software. So then, rather than face-to-face, before there was mainly used telephone communication or face-to-face, but now it's more they can use web chats, they can face-to-face over the internet, they can connect on social media, they can talk on social apps like Google Hangout, Facebook Messenger if needed. There's also, you can text, you can live chat, and also email. In my workplace we email a lot, so for clients, so for teachers we use email to get things they want, but within the team we use Google Hangouts, which is a social app, so we can talk on that to keep up to date. A couple of things that have changed, so I will list off them as I go. Photography is one. Before it would have been camera and then really expensive, really difficult to edit because you'd have to do it within the photo, whereas nowadays we have things like Photoshop and Illustrator, which we can edit photos without needing to do any of the other stuff. It's just as simple as putting it in, but Photoshop's layout is so brilliant that you can just change it black and white if you want to. You can brightness up, contrast up. It's less work than it used to be. Instead of it being on a single PC, difficult to edit, it's now arranged, so you can now edit photos on your mobile device, on your iPad, on tablets, on a Mac, on PC. It's probably most well known on Macs because Macs are known for the editing software, but obviously nowadays smartphones are so advanced that you are able to edit photos, take videos, edit videos all on a smartphone device. So then to videos, obviously before you'd have to take a video camera to film it, then edit it, pay people to try and edit it. Now it's just you put it into Premiere Pro and pretty much done. You can edit in the software, it's a lot easier. And you don't need specialists to do it because it's so you can learn it, as well as when you're done with the project it would have been difficult to move it around. I'd rather stick it on a cassette or a CD and move it around. But now we obviously have memory sticks, we have Google Drive, we have cloud software which we can upload and we can share with as many people as we want to make it a lot easier, as well as WeTransfer, which we still use, which allows you to transfer up to 10 gigabyte per transfer of data or files and things, which is really cool because that means you can share that and share it to different clients. So Scott did a music video and I edited a little parts of it for social media, and I sent it to the band through WeTransfer, and it was really easy to use. It's a lot easier than having to take the cassette all the way to them and then them taking off, etc, etc. So within my apprenticeship we use a lot of digital technology, so whether that be different video devices, so 360 cameras, DSLRs, and mobile phones we use a lot of times. So for interviewing stuff we sometimes use iPads, get promotional footage we use 360 cameras or GoPros. We also communicate mainly using social media. We have a very good online reputation to be able to communicate with all our clients on social media, and we also use our phones with apps to stay productive. So we have apps with our calendars, our reminders, our to-do list. It's good to have it all in one place, so it's completely cool. Within my apprenticeship we have access to a wide range of equipment which can help us take photos, which can help us produce video. We have access to DSLR cameras, 360s, as well as our mobile phone, and then we can use software like Camtasia that can help us to edit quickly and be able to produce videos. We mainly use social media to communicate in the team if we're not talking face to face, so we use things like Google Hangouts or Facebook Messenger. We have a consistent online reputation, but when we're not online and we're talking to teachers, we use email. We like to have the paper trail of the email. We also use our devices, which are portable mobile phones, tablets, Chromebooks, little Chromebooks that we use to keep up to date. So we have our Google Hangouts on there, we have our calendars, we have our to-do lists and reminders, which is really helpful because it means they're all in one place and it's portable, so we're able to keep up and connect with each other no matter where we go. 1.2. Describe key intellectual property and copyright issues related to digital technology and content creation. For anyone that creates content, they must be able to copyright their content to ensure no one takes it or steals it. They can do this a number of different ways depending on how they feel about their content. If they are happy to have someone modify it, edit it, share it, obviously with them credited, then they can do that copyright. Or if they are more restricted, just want it to download and share rather than being modified or added to, there is enough copyright for that. So that, depending on which one they'd like to do, they have to make sure that it's copyrighted under that name, otherwise it can cause some issues. Issues that may arise with that, obviously if these aren't followed, that is actually legal, so they will be, anyone who downloads something that is not copyrighted to do so and modifies it when it's not supposed to be modified can face lawsuit. They can be sued by the content creator. In some cases people will ignore the copyright licenses, whether they claim they don't see it or they don't know much about it, and which can cause a lawsuit. Overall, this can cause a negative approach to educators, to people who want to use copyrighted content, because it will scare them into thinking that they can't use it, they have to check it, and they don't want to end up messing up. Issues that may arise on the media side of things, it can cause, if someone does take and modify their copyrighted piece of work that they said to not to modify, it can cost them money because they will have to sue the person that has done this. Copyright infringement is one of the most popular issues in the creative media industry. For example, it can be someone has wrote a song, wrote a piece of music, someone else sampled that without their permission, then used it in their song. That happens a lot of times in the music industry. It's very common, and they usually end up in a lawsuit, and the person who created the original sample piece would then win. Plagiarism is another issue. It's mainly seen with work, more written work, mainly known in education, but it can be used in media as well. This is where someone takes someone else's work without their permission. However, this is not protected by law. It usually does have a big impact though, because it can cause you to lose your job, lose your place at college, etc. Piracy is another thing. It's common among film, TV and games. So this is taking someone else's work without permission, usually to reproduce or duplicate it. So things like going to the cinema and recording the screen, that would be piracy, because they have the intention to then go copy it and sell it or give it out to their friends. Another thing which is piracy is going onto illegal websites for films, TVs or games, and then streaming those games, downloading those games or films or TV. These all sound quite similar. Obviously piracy is illegal, as well as copyright infringement. Plagiarism isn't illegal, it should be, but it isn't at the moment. They all have different punishments to say at the end if they try to pirate, plagiarise or copyright license, but they're all very important and they do arise in the creative media industry. Okay, so I'm now going to move on to 2.1. 2.1 is all about converging technology. So for 2.1, I'm going to explain what converging technology is. So converging technology is where industries combine and can create more job positions for potential employers. For example, my job role was created from different job positions, editing, filming, creating infographics, creating resources, facilitating, and lots of other things that I do. They all would have been individual job roles, but now this job role has been put together. Mobile device. They serve different functionalities. This phone is a place where I can be on social media, I can tweet, I can write statuses, I can upload pictures to different apps. I can also speak to my boss on here. I can speak to teachers using Hangouts or using Facebook Messenger, or using text. I can call people, I can keep storage of all my photos, my videos, my multimedia, everything I need, as well as take photos, take videos, use it as a camera, use it as a clock, use it for alarms. So productivity apps, so I have my to-do list, my calendar, my notes, everything I need to do on my phone. I can take this wherever. The only downside of having a phone is I could be messaging Scott, or messaging my assessor, who is actually Scott, or putting in a calendar request, so I could be inviting someone to meet up with me from work, or writing notes, and it does look like I'm texting away. So that is a downside. This can also be a games platform. I don't have any games on my phone, but I used to, so you can also use it as a games platform. Instead of playing games on a console or a PC, my phone can handle being able to play games that are made for mobiles. So yeah, before this, these have all been different devices. So I've had an alarm clock, I'd have had a timer, little egg timer, or I'd have had an actual camera, so a notebook, and a diary for my calendar invites, and it wouldn't have been as streamlined, it wouldn't have been as efficient. I would have had to consistently check up with whoever I was meeting with, because on Google Calendar I can just invite, on any calendar online I think you can just invite people to there and say where you're going to go, etc. So it's really handy to have all of that in a device. Obviously they have the same for iPads, they can do the same on Chromebooks, so it's really nice to be able to have converging technology, to be able to converge all technology together and put it so it's easier, portable, and yeah, then it's not in all these devices, not in all these job roles, it's all in one, and it's a lot more streamlined and a lot more efficient. 2.2. Explain the impact of converging technology on the workforce of a specific creative media industry. So the games industry benefits a lot from converging technology, and not just for developing consoles and PCs to be able to do other stuff other than playing games, like watching films, being able to browse the internet. It also benefits the workforce. It helps to make things more streamlined and easier for them. Developing games before converging technology may have been more difficult, because it means everyone in the company would have to be in one place, and saving files and programs to the desktop on one PC rather than being able to access it wherever you were and make sure it's portable. However, converging technology allows employees to be in different places. This can mean that they can have a graphics artist in the UK, whereas the developing company itself is in Japan. This is because they will be able to use converging technologies such as the cloud to be able to store things and share between two places, be able to do web chats, live chats, video calls, and communicate using social media. Another use of social media would be to keep in contact with consumers, people who want to buy their stuff. So social media would also be useful with that rate as well, to be able to release alpha, beta stages of games, so they're able to test the games. That might be able to save them money on testers, as well as promoting the games, which could save money from having to put up billboards, send out flyers, and promote in other ways. So being able to promote on social media is essentially free, and it will reach a far wider audience, if not all over the world. As an example of a converging technology, developers can use WeTransfer to transfer game files over the internet to testers. So if they wanted them to test their games, they can transfer them or upload to the cloud so the testers can download it. This can save them time by having to give it to them personally or on memory stick. Indie companies may use websites like Kickstarter, which is backed by social media. This can help them get funding for their games they want to create, which wouldn't have been around before converging technology. This makes it easier for people who want to buy their game and to help fund their game, give money to help them, rather than going around and getting money off of everyone else. For audio artists, sound artists, Foley artists, graphics artists, mainly for sound artists for this example, usually they'd have to bring really heavy and large equipment, whether they're filming Foley, whether they're filming voice artists, and that can be expensive. The software can be expensive when they want to edit it. Now we have converging technology, we're able to record using devices, tablets, and edit in the same smartphone with the same quality, perhaps even better, because smartphones now have these amazing assets, so they're able to record high quality and then edit high quality as well. This could also benefit graphics artists, like I said before, so they're able to use their phone to take pictures, or more graphical side, use editing software to be able to edit pictures, draw pictures, and filter to make it as however they want, which is just as good as a program but costs less. LO3. Know how converging technology has been exploited to reach new audiences and generate revenue. 3.1. Describe the changing expectations of audiences and consumers within a chosen creative media industry. Expectations for audiences have now changed. They expect less to be faced, more done over the internet, more done over live chat, more done in email, more done in Messenger. More and more media industries expect consumers to have mobile devices and emails to keep in contact. So any media industry really expects consumers to have access to mobile phones, to emails, by means of keeping them in contact, keeping the subscriptions going, keeping them subscribed, and being able to get them to fill out forms, quizzes, whatever they need to get their research. They expect consumers to have things like social media, to be able to hire them, so LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook. So now there's a lot more expectation on what the consumer has rather than what the media company has to offer. Younger generations are now more impatient. This wasn't so before phones, before TV, because you can tap a phone and go directly into whatever you want to go into. There's more expectancy of consumers being more and more impatient, especially the younger generations who have always had things instant, fast, and everything they've wanted. So then it's a lot more pressure on media companies to come out with things that consumers are going to want, especially younger generations, because everything they want bigger, they want better, they want faster, and they want instant. So with that, they want everything personalised to their taste. Shows like Black Mirror have represented young teens wanting more interactions on social media, so more followers, more attention. And so that's why in the social media industry there are so many new apps, new ways of being connected with so many different people, so they can get constant reassurance that everything's okay. Younger generations are more and more anxious. So having things like social media doesn't help, but it sells. So social media companies will bring out more and more apps for social media for them to be able to connect, for them to be able to talk, to be able to get what they need from it. They'll be able to get that recognition and to feel like they are acceptable in today's generation, which then effectively even makes media companies work harder, because they know that social media shouldn't be for younger generations. There's age guidelines, 13 over to use Facebook, 13 over to use Twitter. They know that it's not good, but they do know as well that it's being used, and it's being used well. Everyone wants, even some of the older generation, everyone wants the new cool thing out there. So there's constant pressure on to be able to bring out more and more technology on your phones, on tablets, on PCs, on laptop. Every media company wants to have the biggest, the better, and the most profitable thing. Okay, 3.2. Describe examples of how ideas for multi-platform content have been used to reach new audiences and generate revenue. So I thought about websites when I did this. Now that we have phones, tablets, laptops, and big screens, if you're viewing a website on any of those, the website developer will have to make sure that it is compatible, that it fits with all the screens, that it will go for all the different operating systems, like the internet. So does it fit for Chrome? Is it fit for Internet Explorer? Is it fit for Safari? How does it fit, and how will it be viewed on each of these devices? So I was also thinking about, do they want it to be, so if you had a website, do you want it to be the exact same website for all devices? So the same one you can see on your laptop, you can see on your mobile, or would they make it more compatible? So would they make it a bit more simpler on mobile phones, considering they have a smaller screen? Would they make it into an app? How would they would do that? It would be a bit more different. So there's a lot of things they have to consider when they are creating. But obviously, having a compatible website for each of these devices, depending on what the consumer is using. 9 times out of 10, they'll have a smartphone on them at all times. Maybe 6 times out of 10, a tablet. So it's good to have a compatible website that works on all of them, so consumers are then able to bring up the same website they've used on their laptop or their bigger screen onto their phone, so they can refer back to it. This will help gain a lot more a wider range of audience, because it means they can access it on the go. It's a more portable website, and then the more use of it on your phone, it's more likely in this generation that they'll look at it on their phone rather than on the laptop, because they always have the phone in their hand.